Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn features found inside the Microsoft PowerPoint called Zoom. Alright, imagine this. You are presenting a survey report to your board members of the different types of options that your business has offered. You may need to go back and forth a couple of times for a certain slide upon request to answer some questions before you can finally review the most popular option that most people like the most during your presentation. How can you able to do that and deliver the presentation professionally without need to struggle and wasting more time scrolling your mouse up and down the slide just to look for the particular slide that you needed among all the many other slides you have in your presentation frantically? Well, this is where the Zoom feature built into the Microsoft Office PowerPoint came to rescue. I'm sure your audience will be impressed by your presentation skill after this. Alright, without further ado, let's jump into the Microsoft PowerPoint now. Okay, as you can see, I have my PowerPoint open with a few slides I prepared in advance just for the purpose of this demo. Okay, to use the Zoom features, once you're in the PowerPoint, just go ahead to click on the Insert, and then you will notice an icon in the middle called Zoom. Once you click on the drop-down list, you will notice there are actually three different types of Zoom, namely Summary Zoom, Section Zoom, and Slide Zoom, which I will explain each one of them. Okay, to begin with, let me click on the Summary Zoom. As you can see, the PowerPoint will open the dialog box with all the slides I have. Down here, I can choose those slides that I want to present. So I'm going to choose slide 2, 3, 4, and then slide 5. And I'm going to click Insert. When I click Insert, you will notice that PowerPoint will create a new page for me, a new slide for me, and separate it in a different section called Summary section. On top of that, it will also separate my other slide into a different section, namely the default section, then the option 1 section, option 2 section, and option 3 section. Okay, for the current slide that PowerPoint created for me, let me just enter a title. I'm gonna name it as Summary. Okay, down here is the 4 slide that I selected that I want to present. Okay, so now let me go into my presentation mode. Okay, I'm gonna start with the first slide. Once I click on the first slide, it will zoom into the first slide. Once I click Next, it will zoom out to the main slide. Now, instead of the normal sequence order that people use to present, down here I can randomly jump into other slide and then skip the second slide. Let's say, for example, I can skip second slide and go straight away to slide number 3. It will zoom in to slide number 3. Once I finish, click, it will zoom out. Now, let's say, for example, I can go back to slide number 2. Then I click Next, it will zoom out. So, with this Summary Zoom, you have the freedom to choose which slide that you want to present instead of the normal order. Alright, okay, now let me exit. Okay, the next one I want to show you is called Section Zoom. But before I go to that, let me create some slide in my section first. Okay, so for this section called Option 1, I have one slide. Let me create a few slides under it. Create the slide first. Now let me edit to show people what is Option 1 include. Alright. Okay, so now I'm gonna edit it. Include the main dish. Let me see what is main dish. One main dish is tender roasted chicken with resin and honey dressing. Okay, what about the side dish? Let's say, for example, side dish is with potatoes and onion ring with salad. And what about beverages? Maybe I just put coffee, or tea, or soda drink. Okay, so now my section called option 1 now have 2 slides. Okay, once I complete, let me go to the default section. Go to the default section. Okay, I'm gonna click on the zoom. Now I select section zoom. Okay, down here as usual, it will open the dialog box with all the slides I have. So down here, I can choose those sections I want to present. Okay, for example, I choose section 3, section 4, 5, and 6. Then I'm gonna click insert. Once I click insert, you will see the slide that I selected will be stacked out. So you can actually click any empty area of your slide, and then you can rearrange the slide into the order that you want. So this is called sections. And move this section here, move this below, then so down here you can see I have 4 different sections. Section option 1 section, option 3, 2, and then the last one. Okay, now let me put into my presentation mode first. Okay, I'm gonna start with the section called option 1. Okay, once I click on this option 1, it will zoom into the slide for me to present. Once I click next, it will go to the next slide. So I click next, it will zoom out. Okay, so now I can go to option 2, click next, it will zoom out again. Okay, you will notice there are different here. See, once I click on the option 1 sections, okay, so PowerPoint is clever enough to detect that for this section I've had 2 slides. Okay, so once I click next, it will show me the next slide. So after the second slide, so I don't have the third slide, so which means when I click next, it will zoom out. Alright, so if I click option 2, okay, so after I present, I will click next. Okay, since my option 2 section 2, I have only 1 slide. That's why when I click next, it will zoom out. So this is called section zoom. Section zoom means that it will present all the slides into the same section before it zoom out for you to choose the next section that you want to present. Alright. So now let me exit this section. Okay, then the last one I will show you is the slide zoom. Okay, so before I do that, let me remove all the slide here first. Okay, I have removed all the slide. Now let me select the zoom slide, the slide zoom, sorry. Okay, so as usual, it will open the dialog box with all the slides I have for me to choose. Okay, for the slide zoom, let's say for example, you want to present the first slide all the way to the last slide. Down here with the slide zoom, you can only need to select the first slide that you want to present, and then once you click the insert, the PowerPoint will actually click the link to all the slides you have until the last slide, for example, which means in this case, once I click this option 1, then the PowerPoint it will actually click the link to the option the slide number 4, 5, 6, and 7 for me without need to select all the slide here. So I just need to set the first slide only. So it will continue from here all the way to the last slide. Okay, so now let me click insert, and then you will notice that the slide zoom only will include one slide in your presentation slide. Okay, so now let me go to the presentation mode first to show you how is it look like with this slide zoom. Okay, so now I'm gonna start present. Once I click option 1, so it will zoom in to option 1, click next, it will go to the next slide, option 3, then this is the last slide I have. Once I click next, exit. So this is called the slide zoom. So slide zoom, it will create a link from the first slide until the last slide that I want to present. Okay, other than this, I'm going to show you how you can actually customize the behavior of the slide. Okay, before I do that, let me remove this slide. Now, let me just insert a section zoom. So I'm going to select a few sections for the examples. Okay, I'm going to click insert. Again, I can rearrange the slide. Okay, so just now I said you can customize your slide. So now you will notice that. So what if I click on the first, let's say for example, I click on the first slide, you will notice there's a properties called zoom come up with all the features that you can select to customize your slide. Okay, so now I highlight on the first slide, I click on the zoom, the red color zoom. You will notice it will show you all the properties, all the tools bar for you to use. For example, the first one is change image. Let me explain what is this change image. Let's say for example, you don't want people to see the slide before you present. You can actually change the icon of the slide. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead to click on the change image, then change image again. Down here, you can insert a picture from the files, stock images, online pictures, or even an icon. Let me just select icons. Okay, PowerPoint will open a lot of icons for you to select. So I'm gonna simply pick one from the list here. So let me just pick this alarm clock. I'm gonna click insert. And you will notice that my slide now turned into an icon. Okay, so now let me go to the presentation mode. You see my slide in the icon. Once I click on this icon, it will immediately show me the slide. Alright. Okay, so now let me exit the slideshow mode first. Okay, the next one I'm gonna show you, it is return to zooms. Okay, by default, all the slide it will highlight in the return to zoom. See, let's say for example, I click on the last slide, it will return to zoom. So now let me go to present mode first. So I click the last slide. Once I finish present, when I click next, it will zoom out. So this means what we call it as return to zoom. So which means it will go back to this main slide for you to choose the next slide that you want to present. Okay, so now I can actually, if I don't want it to be returned to zoom, I want it to end the slide after this, I just need to uncheck this return to zoom. Okay, now let me show you. I untick this one, present, I click next. See, it will not return to the zoom since I already unticked the options. Alright, so let me exit. Go to zoom, let me just put it back the settings. Okay, zoom transition means that if you, by default, all the slide in the zoom, there is a zoom transitions. So what does this mean is that if you untick these zoom features, if you untick the zoom transition, so you won't see any transition happen if you present your slide. You see, let me click this one, zoom transition. if I click this one, so immediately you will just like that. You don't see the zoom features come up. It will not zoom. It will just refresh the screen for you, then come up, then straight away go to the next slide. All right. So just let me put it back to the zoom transition. This is the purpose that people want to use the zoom feature, right? Okay. And then you also can change the duration of the zoom functions, and then you can change the layout. Let's say, for example, see, you can change the layout with a thick borders, different borders. Okay, you can, if you click this one, you have even more like the oval shape, okay. All right, on top of that, you can change the zoom border effect. And then one thing is about the background. Let's say, for example, you have all the slide with the background colors except one slide which is in white color background, look very odd. You can change it to the slide background. So how you do that? You just click on the slide you want to change the background. Then you click on the zoom background. You will notice that it will change the background to the zoom background. See? It will take away the white background, replace it with the zoom background that you have in your slide. Okay. So this is how we use the zoom feature found inside the Microsoft PowerPoint. I hope this video helped you understand how to use the zoom feature and help you in your PowerPoint presentations. So if you do like this video, do hit the like button down below this video, and then do remember to subscribe to my channels. Okay, see you again in the next video. Goodbye.